Good morning, Mass 7. What's up, everybody? How y'all doing? Hope you're doing just fine on this sunny Friday morning. Today, we are going over 12.2. I also have a quiz for you. That video will be up later. And without further ado, let's just jump right in. So, evaluating expressions. Yesterday, we talked about variables, what that looks like, and what expressions are. Again, an expression is just numbers, variables, and operations. So we're kind of putting it together. It's kind of like a mathematical sentence. Okay. What we do a lot of times is substitution. So again, like when I have a substitute teacher, that person stands in my place, right? And in this case, it's the process of replacing a variable with a given value. So if your teacher is the variable, whoever the substitute is comes and takes their place with their own given value, right? The other term that we need to define is evaluate. Now I could hear it now on future quizzes and tests. It'll say evaluate, just like in my notes it says practice. That's a little heading. And Mr. Bulger, what does it mean to evaluate? Right here. It means you have to substitute your variable. So substitute some value for your variable and solve for that answer. So plug in the different numbers that it'll say and just simplify, solve. So for example, evaluate j plus 7, so that's our expression, if j equals 65. So we're going to substitute 65 in for j, rewrite it, 65 plus 7, and that, of course, equals 72. So we have evaluated the expression by substituting and solving. Pretty straightforward. With this kind of stuff, this includes our order of operations. So sometimes we'll have to multiply first and then subtract. Just keep an eye out for it. Okay. Moving right along. This is just a personal note. Instead of hearing me say substitute, usually you'll hear me say plug in. So I'll tell you to plug in 65 for j. And that just means substitute. That just means wherever you see a j, plug in 65, boom. It's just different language that you'll hear often. Okay, I've got a few examples for us. Evaluate these expressions and let n equals 6. So let me just put this down for a second while I try to cover up the answers. Wow. Mr. Bulger, that's not very good. Okay, so first couple that we're going to do are these two. I know they say 1 and 3, but that's because I've got 2 and 4 over here. Okay, so the first one is 7n. Now what that looks like is it's going to be 7 times n, so it's going to be 7 times 6, leaving us with 42. Now the second one is 30 divided by n, so 30 divided by 6 equals 5. See, pretty straightforward, not very scary. These next two, again, n equals 6. So we're going to, in this first one, subtract. 13 minus 6 is 7. And 9 plus 6 is 15. Okay, pretty straightforward. Again, moving right along. Some expressions have more than one operation. Again, that's where the order of operation comes into play. In these cases, it'll look something like this. So 30 minus 3r, if r equals 12. Well, so we've substituted. We've plugged in 12. But what's going to happen first? Subtraction or multiplication? Multiplication, right? Okay. So we've multiplied. And now we subtract, coming to our answer of -6. See, we have properly evaluated the expression, coming to this different answer. Okie dokie. So I do have some practice problems for you guys. This first one, I'm going to walk with you through it. Okay. 7x minus 4 if x equals -2. If you want to do this on your own, go ahead, pause the video. Otherwise, our first step is to substitute. So I plugged in -2 for x. Well, whenever a number is next to a variable, it's multiplied. So when you substitute, you still need to multiply. So I'm not going to subtract 7 and -2. I'm not going to subtract 7 minus 2. I'm going to multiply 7 by -2. 7 times -2 is -14. -14 minus 4 is -18. Now, the reason why this is still subtraction is because there's no other sign telling me to multiply. So I'm just going to do what the sign tells me and subtract. Mia, I could hear you say, but Mr. Bulger, that's confusing. No, we've done subtraction for, most of our lives. And this is just an added thing, right? Because we know that these are multiplied. Therefore, we have to keep it the same when we give it a value. So if it looks like multiplication, multiply. But if it looks like subtraction, then just subtract. Okay, we've got a few more for you. So for these cases, let x equal 4, y equal 7, and z equal -1. Okay, here's 1 and 2. Go ahead and pause the videos. There's only one video. Go ahead and pause the video. Okay. For number 1, I've substituted. Now division comes before addition, so I'm going to divide 36 by 4, and then I'm going to add, give me 11. For this guy over here, again, I'm going to substitute. So that's 4 squared, meaning 4 times 4 is 16. 16 plus 5 is 21. Okay. Moving right along. Now remember, y and z have different values. So I'm going to cover up this guy. So I've got 15 minus 7 times 3. You do multiplication before subtraction. 15 minus 21 gives me -6. Again, I've kept my sign all the way down, the subtraction all the way down. That didn't change. I've just substituted, and then I've got to do what I've got to do. Okay. Number 4. Again, I'm going to substitute. And then I'm going to take care of the business inside the grouping. -1 minus 3 is -4. 2 times -4 is -8. Alright guys, hope this helps. If you have any questions, please comment below or email me. I'll get to you as soon as I can. Otherwise, I will be back later on with a video on your quiz. Love you, bye.